record. So may He guide us in all the things that we do, where we uplift each other. And that's how I choose and want to live. And hopefully, y'all see Him through me. Um, so let's get us started. I have some more videos on the YouTube page if you've been able to check it out. I have gone all the way through the advanced six to the left, and you aren't there yet. We haven't gone through all the advanced six, but you can go ahead and start watching those videos if you want and familiarize yourself with it. And Sharita has been in my advanced class that's on Fridays. And last year we worked a little bit on part two, and now I have a part two video up there. Now we're learning in this class, we've learned our basic six, and then we will start eventually working on our advanced six. And then if you're interested, one day can come to the advanced class and dive into part two. Now I think about the basic six is just that. These are our basic movements. We always, no matter what part we're on, we move within our principles. And because we move through our principles, we get all the benefits from the movement. But the basic six can be done seated. There's so many like modifications for different levels with our basic six. When we move to our advanced six, I always think of it as the fight we never are going to have, because there's a lot of kind of attack moves and retreat moves, as if you really were in a fight and you were hitting at or attacking someone, and then they're coming at you and you're kind of pulling yourself back to avoid their attack. That's what the advanced six is like. And then the part two, it's very much like a beautiful dance. And so that's how I kind of describe the three different portions of the moves that I teach and we learn together. But you get the benefits from those. Now, part two will have sweat dripping down your back. Now, can you believe you can move so slow and sweat? Isn't that wild? That is wild to me that Tai Chi is indeed a cardiovascular exercise that gets your blood pumping, gets your heart rate up, but at the same time reduces stress and calms you. I love the yin and yang of our Tai Chi. So let's get started with our warm-ups. Making sure we're breathing, reminding ourselves to have a good posture, holding no tension in our shoulders. That's where I tend to hold a lot of tension, sometimes in my neck, in my jaw. Just do a quick check through your whole body, making sure you have no tension anywhere. Weight on both of our legs. And let's begin with our neck. Pull towards our chin and chest. Push away and follow those hands all the way down. So yes, this movement is to warm up our neck, but because the nature of moving our hands, you really get a warm up of your shoulders and your back as you go through these movements. So we're going side to side. Our head and eyes are following that hand as we look towards that shoulder. The more we do that, the more we increase the flexibility of our neck. We don't have to go as far as we can go. Just go until you feel a slight stretch. Hold it for a second and then come back to center. Remember, this movement right here is that intro movement to our waving hands and clouds that we're working so hard on. I told you it may take us a few weeks as we explore that movement. Now for our shoulders, rolling those shoulders forward. Maybe in this past week you have made you a cheat sheet with those 4 words on a paper that you can put in front of you as you're doing the movements. That's very helpful to me to have the paper be my brain, and I just get to be the mover. So we're giving ourselves a little massage. So it warms up our shoulders, but you can feel all those muscles in your back as they prepare to move in our Tai Chi. Big shoulder circle, which is a great one to practice breath. An inhale as you come up and an exhale as you push down. Thinking about gentle resistance, kind of pretending we're moving through heavy air. And that helps us engage muscle that we wouldn't normally engage in doing some of these movements, but by using that pull and push type words, it helps us engage extra muscle. All right, for our spine, we have our ball and we separate those hands, pushing up and down at the same time, keeping that soft bend in our elbow, not locking our joints. Stretch that spine. I like to exhale as I push and separate. Inhale as I come to my ball. We're thinking slow, smooth, and continuous through our movements. You may even think I'm going in slow motion, and that helps you slow down. So now we're going to go side to side. This movement right here is waving hands and clouds. Our hands are just a little bit different, but it's a torso move going side to side. I think I misspoke a while ago. On that neck warm up, that movement is a precursor for our what's it called? Single whip. We'll talk about that in a second. So slow, make that turn, and then come across. So don't get in a hurry to go ahead and start moving. Pause, make the switch, then go across body. Remembering to keep that room in your armpit so your armpit can breathe. And that's really an open joint. Moving to our lower body, our hips, we're going to shift weight to one leg. Place the heel forward, hands back. Pause in the middle and toe back like a kickstand. Hands forward. Keep breathing, y'all. No tension in those shoulders. We're not leaning. We're staying upright. Just verbalizing all those reminders of our principles and instructions for our movements to make them safe and teach our muscles how to support our bodies. We want to think about this outside of class, not just in class. We want to think of how we're holding and how holding our bodies, how we're moving our bodies. Now let's shift side to side. Our hands go in the direction of the weight shift, stopping at the edge of our frame and tapping out that other foot. Or our knees. Shift, lift, tap and punch. Slow, smooth, and continuous. So we really start feeling the challenge of holding our weight on one leg as we lift this other one and do something with it. This is how we get those muscles stronger, by using them this way. Even if we have to hold onto a chair or a table, rely on the wall, whatever stable item you have that can help you build yourself up to being able to hold weight on one leg. And by slowing it down, slowing our movement down, we're on that leg even longer, which makes it even more challenging. But that's the whole point here. Falls prevention. Let's step out, shift forward. We're preventing ourselves from falling, or that's our goal, is to prevent the falls. We probably can't prevent all falls, but we're making our body strong so that if we get tripped up and fall may happen, we can use our muscle strength to keep ourselves upright. Thinking about how important good posture is to keeping our bodies upright. I mean, it literally is upright. We have good posture. We're not leaning towards falling. So just in the way we hold our body, we learn that in Tai Chi class. We hold our body like that all the time, we're less likely to fall. Ankles, heel toe. I hear the train coming down the tracks. I don't know how the song goes, but it's one of those Johnny Cash songs. I don't know if y'all can hear the train. I didn't just, bust out in train songs for no reason. And then big toe, little toe. See Miss Linda coming in. Let me finish this other ankle exercise and I'll let her in. Side to side. All right, give yourself a little shake. Do y'all have any questions about any of our warm-up movements as far as the instruction on how to do those? Those are for our major joints. Y'all know, anytime you have a question, you can just belt it out. Don't feel like you have to wait for me to ask if you have any questions. You may stop and you may think, I'm not exactly sure what you're doing on that. Can you please show me or can you explain it? So, because I know in the world of virtual teaching, it's just so different than doing it in person, but I'm always willing to turn to the side, turn around, come closer, whatever may work so that you can get a better understanding of movements. I'm always happy to do that. So just putting that out there and reminding you. Gotcha. Gotcha, Miss Linda. Still glad you're here, and let me write your name on the row. As you know, I want all of y'all to be what's called completers because I want to send y'all goodies in the mail. For those of you who sent me your registration and waiver form, I think there were 7 of you. I'm not going to count. I didn't number. But I sent you the manicure sets in the mail. So I don't know if you've gotten those yet. But thank you for sending them. And if I continue to get those in the mail, then I'll send those out to you. And it's the manicure sets with the 2 different kinds of fingernail clippers and the file. I think there are 2 different files. Anyway, they're handy to have. All right, so let's go with our basic 6. That's what we've learned so far, and we're trying to get better at those movements, specifically at waving hands and clouds. So let's go through all 6, and I will talk you through them, okay? Good upright posture, soft bend in our knees, weight on both legs. We're breathing, not holding any tension. And begin. Hands come up, down, shift right. Place that left foot out. Hands come in and up. We shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward, hands come back. Weights on both of our legs now. Now open and close. Single whip. Shift left, step out right, adjust weight. So now weights on both legs. Push our hands out, turn and separate. Our eyes and head follow our left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back. Waving hands and clouds. Here we go. Our 4 words. We step, switch, turn, shift, 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 step, switch, turn, and to the middle for open and close. Let's go the other direction to our right. Shift right, step left, adjust weight. Sorry, to our left. Y'all know I struggle being a liar sometimes. Push, turn, separate. Eyes follow our right hand. Shift right. Bring that left foot, left hand back, waving hands and clouds. Step, switch, turn. Shift, step, switch, turn. Shift, step, switch, turn. Shift, step, switch, turn. Shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, and come back to the middle for open and close. Close it out. That's our basic 6. So I used our 4 words in our waving hands and clouds. And by using those 4 words, actually by talking you through them just now, all the moves were very choppy. And that's the way it is when we first learn our movements because we're learning each piece and part of it. And then once we get to know it better, then we can be more smooth and continuous with our movements. So let's do it again. This time I'm going to demonstrate and I'll just call out the names of the movements. All right, here we go. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Trying to move in that choppy way that gives all 4 words. Oh, sorry, I got to come to the middle for open and close. I was just going to keep waving hands in clouds. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. You can count. 1, 2. Got to count to 6. 3, 4, 5. Open, close, and close it out. So you see, you can either count your step or you can count your turn. But there's 6, right? Also, a thing that is helpful, has been helpful to me, is that when I step left, after that step to the left, a turn to the left follows. Okay? When I step right, a turn to the right follows. So that may help you see a pattern or know a pattern, and that can help you on what's next. So you have your 4 words, you have your step, switch, and turn. So that left step followed by a left turn. A step right followed by a right turn. Because I know with waving hands in clouds, there's a lot of pieces and parts to it, and it can be overwhelming. When we broke it up and we just simply Tai Chi walk to the side, kind of finding our comfort zone in the spacing. So we're saying, okay, that feels about right. Okay, that feels about right. Okay, that feels too close. Let me fix it. Okay, that feels too big. Let me fix it. So you kind of explore the spacing that works best for you. Because I'm not going to tell you it is 8 inches between your steps and then it is 10 inches in between your steps. Because it's not that. Our bodies are all different. So based on our leg length, our steps may have more space in between them. The whole point is that we are stable in where our feet are. And there's a little bit of playing room because we have to be a little bit wider and a little bit closer. But we want to be stable in both instances. If we're way far apart, that's not very stable because we can't recover from it. I can't easily make that false follow step. I have to kind of kick off. Same thing, if my feet are too close, I can't shift weight. Oh gosh, I can't, point proven. I can't shift weight to one foot. I don't have the stability of my widened stance. So that was easy talking about just stepping, right? And then when we talk about just our hands being similar to the spinal warm up here, but in waving hands in clouds, one hand is by our hip engaged, the other's cross body. We turn in the direction of the hand that's on top and then switch. Turn. So this top hand comes down like you're banging a drum. This hand comes up like it's a sash, like a crossbody sash. And remember, we did it incorrectly on purpose to show you what it feels like and remind ourselves of toddlers, where if our hand is here and we turn this way, which is the wrong way, then I'm turning my shoulder to you. And that's just like, no. It's not a good feeling, is it? It's a blocking feeling. And so what we're trying to do is open ourselves up. And so we turn and open ourselves up, switch, turn and open ourselves up. So if you ever have a question on which way do I turn, it's the hand that's on top. So that's a rule, that always the hand on top, and this one is that. But also, it feels differently to turn like this versus like this. So the direction of the hand that's on top. So if this hand's here in my sash, I'm going that way, in that direction. Just a few tips on how to remember your moves. The cheat sheet is a great thing because it can be your brain. All right, so let's go again from the top. Practicing our basic 6. And commence. Shift right, step left, in, up, out as I shift left, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip, shift left, step out right, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, eyes and head follow that left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back. Here we go. Step, switch, turn, shift, 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 step, switch, turn, back to center for open and close. Single whip, shift right, step left, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, eyes follow that right hand. Shift right, bring that left foot, left hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step, switch, turn, shift, 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 step, switch, turn, and come back to center for open and close. So another tip I can give you about the waving hands in clouds stepping, as your muscles get stronger, you may be able to stay out a little wider even though it may not be the most stable stance. Hold on a second. I don't know if that makes sense. Here's what I'm trying to say. I can step over here, and that is really a little too wide for me. But because I am really strong in my legs, I can shift over here, and this foot that's out at this angle, I'm pushing off a little bit on there in order to step in. We're not trying to do push off moves. What we want to do is be able to have all that weight on one leg, and we want to be so strong and so stable in holding our weight on that one leg that it's no big deal to pick that foot up and bring it. We don't want to be so far out that I can't really get my weight over top of this foot, over top of this knee. I'm having to kick off of that foot. I can do it because I'm strong. Now, I caught myself doing what I just told y'all was not what we're supposed to be doing, because I went to a class that had a freshly polished floor. And when I went to do waving hands and clouds, apparently when I pushed off, even so very slightly, my foot slipped. And that's when it started making me think really how important it is to keep that spacing small, smaller than what you probably think of, so that you can shift the weight properly, fully be on this leg, then lift and bring that foot over, not be out here and have to kick off to come over. So sometimes you got to do it wrong and experience it wrong in order to really get your attention on, I need to not step out so far. But we live in that world of things that are bigger or better. We're supposed to do more. It's supposed to be more dramatic. And it's not right if it's just small and almost unnoticeable. So, I get caught up in it too. So just think small in everything we do. When we place that foot forward in our commencement move, it's not a step, right? It's just a small place in that foot forward. If you want to see it from the side, here my feet are side by side, shift and step. So anytime my feet are stepped out like this, basically my toe of my right leg is in alignment with the heel of my left foot. Not leg. My leg doesn't have a heel. My foot has a heel. So it is a small step. It's not a step. Okay? So we want to be grounded in our stance. We want to be able to completely shift weight over top of that knee and foot. That is a stable way of holding that weight so I can do something here. And if I go way out here, then see the difference? See the angle in this leg? I'm being very dramatic right now. But that's an angle versus now it's able to stay straight. Now, I notice there is that soft bend in my knee. It's not locked straight, but I stay over top. My hip stays over top of my knee. My knee stays over top of my foot. It's a straight line. Those joints are in a straight line. If I'm here, then my hip is in front of my toe. My knee is probably more at my toe. So that isn't stable. This is stable where my joints are aligned. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I really hope it does. I have been really studying the movements and why. You know, like the eternal 5-year-old. You're telling me to do this. Why? Why? Tell me why. Well, it all goes back to stability, upright posture, which is our body structure principle of Tai Chi. All right, so all of that, let's practice, and I'm only going to call out the names of the movements. So I just really want you to think about spacing of your step and keeping it small. All right, here we go. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close, and close it out. Was there any moment that you felt tension somewhere? Was there any moment that you felt yourself pushing off? Was there any moment when you felt something wasn't right? And you may not know what it was, but something didn't feel so smooth and gentle, at ease with the movement. Something just didn't feel right. It's good if you felt that, because that's called body awareness, and that's when you can fix things. Maybe you don't know what it is. So revisit that movement where you felt that and discover what you were doing. I'll tell you one thing I noticed is when I did the single whip to the left, when I stepped out like this. And so when I went to turn, I felt tension in my ankle joint. Well, I realized that my step should have been more here and not here. I had turned my foot out just a little bit. Those little bits can make a big difference in putting stress on your joints or tension on your joints. So that we're going for no tension, right? We go for ease. We want to hold our bodies in a way that's stable and not causing tension. All right, let's do it again. And let me say this now. In waving hands in clouds, yeah, you can see it. You see brackets here, putting those two words together. You may notice when I do waving hands in clouds, hold on. I step and switch at the same time. Then I turn and shift. I step and switch at the same time. Turn and then shift. So that's what that bracket is signifying. You're putting two movements together to help you move in the direction of of continuous is our goal in our Tai Chi. So it's just fine to do one thing at the time when you're first learning and keeping it choppy. But as you learn and as you get better, try to do those two things at the same time. Step and switch. Turn, shift, step and switch. Now you can turn and shift at the same time. So there's that bracket for that reason. Turn and shift. Turn and shift. Turn and shift. So that turn and shift is happening at the same time. That's an option. I break up turn and shift, and it's because of what we talk about in movement control called gentle resistance. How do I do gentle resistance in the turn? Well, I tighten up all these muscles in my core. They're in my stomach, there's some in my back, and whenever I turn, I'm using all these muscles to turn or push my body to the side. I can't comfortably use all those muscles and shift my weight at the same time. Somebody else might can, I can't. But I'm focusing on gentle resistance as I turn. And then when I get to the end of that turn, then I shift. So all of these movements can be done a little bit differently based on how you're doing the movement. So if you see me step and switch at the same time, you don't have to do those two. You can do them one at the time. But just in case you see it, that's kind of my goal in becoming more continuous in the movement. Because that's our principle. Slow, smooth, and continuous movement control. All right, here we go. Let's practice it again. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close, and close it out. I'm going to turn around and do this from the back. You're familiar with what it looks like from the front, just in case it may be helpful for somebody. So in turning around, I'm no longer in mirror image. So this gets to be my right hand. When we do waving, so I'll start over here. When we do single whip and waving hands in clouds, we do that to the right first, and then we do that to the left. So follow me as we do our basic 6 again. And commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Close it out. So that may be helpful for you. Again, in mirror image, and then we'll cool down basic 6. So next week, we'll start being introduced to our first advanced move called brush knee. It's a more complicated move because we go from facing the front to facing to the left. It looks like this. Brush knee. That's brush knee. So we'll start introducing you to brush knee next week. Continue to practice your basics. Basic 6. We'll still do that together as we attempt to move forward in our advanced move and learning our advanced movements. So again, basic 6 and commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close, and close it out. Very good. So look at us making headway through our Tai Chi series of movements. We are at 5. I was looking on Monday trying to figure out. We're at week 5 this week. So we have, oh gosh, math has never been my thing. 11. 16 minus 5 is 11. And if that's right, I did that without a calculator. So, round of applause. No, we have 11 more weeks, y'all, to learn and explore all of these moves. So let's cool down by giving ourselves a nice fist massage, trying to lift those knees up if your pants will allow it. I don't have a lot of stretch in my pant today, but lifting those knees up, giving yourself that fist massage, breaking up lactic acid is part of our cool down movements. Now let's create tension. Just gather it, cause ourselves tense, and then let it glow. Not glow, let it go. Tense and relax. Doesn't it feel so much better when we let it go? So don't hold tension in your real life. Let the tension go. Notice when you have the tension and let it go, and you'll have less pain. Big shoulder circle, utilizing breath, the inhale as we come up, Exhale as we push down. One more. That breath feels so good. And to end class, we have our right fist representing our strength. And know when we make a fist, anytime in class and in this end movement, it's not a clenched fist. It's a loose fist. Just like we're holding an egg we don't want to break. That represents our strength. Our left fingers all together, that represents our friendship. See, like little people standing together. And our thumb in representing our humility. We put those together, and in mutual respect, we say namaste.
Right.
Look at y'all. Look how fast y'all are getting this. Unless y'all have questions, and you're not telling me you have questions, then y'all are doing amazing stuff. But guess what? If you have questions, maybe you don't feel comfortable asking it in class, call me, email me.
Another one, they had.
We can work one-on-one. I just want you to make sure, or I want to make sure that you have all your questions answered. Okay. So let's do it, y'all. Let's go forth and have a wonderful week.
Okay.
All right. I love y'all.
Love you.
I had to
Bye.
Jennifer, the doctor came in.
That's all right. I hope the doctor gave you praise for being in Tai Chi. Because y'all, if y'all
Thank you.
you're well, if y'all tell y'all's doctor that y'all are in Tai Chi, it's amazing what their response is. They think it's really cool that we're out here doing Tai Chi. Mhm. All right.
Well, anytime I've mentioned it to them.
Go ahead.
Bye-bye.
Oh, okay. Y'all let me know if you need me, okay?
All righty.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.